Hey, good morning, guys, or afternoon at least, March 29th. Just wanted to zip through a few things that you're covering in your various regions and sub-regions. Firstly, in Southeast Asia, today we've obviously produced the Myanmar Daily. We've also assessed an issue in Indonesia, plus 23 other developments. The main issue that we're looking at is some more protests, student protests in Jakarta yesterday. Fundamentally, the group called the All Indonesian Student Executive Board protested at the Horse Statue of Jakarta yesterday. The protest was over various demands. They called on authorities to stabilise cooking prices and ensure basic goods are readily available to the public. And over the last few weeks, several groups have held protests over this issue. Tensions against the government have been rising after the trade minister said that he was unable to control the price of cooking oil due to it being controlled by a powerful cartel. And that's, of course, involving ministers. The real big issue, of course, is the potential delay to the 2024 elections. That's becoming more controversial with several groups voicing strong opposition to it. But, of course, the powers to be are worried about inner wealth, not good of nation. There's a few other issues there. Any questions before I go on?
Yeah, Paul, just a quick question. So do you see Indonesia potentially heading towards more instability?
Look, good question, Uday. I think it is. I think we're going to see a growth in the number of demonstrations. I think, obviously, in the wake of the omnibus bill and some other contentious bills that have been through Parliament, there's always going to be opposition to those, right or wrong. I'm actually surprised we didn't get more widespread demonstrations given the amount of provocateurs in Indonesia. I think this issue of trying to find a loophole in the constitution to extend Jokowi's presidency, that's the big one, though. That isn't going to be just little action groups. It's going to be potentially disastrous for Indonesia, and that has the promise to really bring about widespread demonstrations. Uday, did I answer your question adequately?
Yes, Paul, you did. Thanks a lot.
All right, just a couple of other things in the region, guys. In Japan, the Chief Cabinet Secretary said that Japanese companies will be requested to refuse if Russia asks for ruble payments for economic transactions. And also, and Uday, you might like to comment on this as well, but in Indonesia, the West Papua National Liberation Army opened fire on a security force post in Kenyam Nduga yesterday, where you and I have obviously been passing information to about the effect on some light planes up there as well. I think this area is a particularly volatile area, and we need to keep an eye on that. Obviously, Freeport likes to advocate that this is a long way away from us, but you know, this is Nduga is one of the several tribes of which they are indirectly affected by Freeport operations, and that's acknowledged in how they interact with financial support to various tribes. So this isn't as far away and out of Freeport's concern as they might like to play it. Anything you'd like to add on that particular incident, Uday?
Yeah, just the deadliness of the West Papua National Liberation Army in Nduga. Earlier this month, they killed about 8 workers there, and just over the weekend, they killed 2 soldiers and injured 8 others. So it's quite a tense situation over there.
Yeah, and look, this is ongoing. Obviously, we keep in our database the incidents, the fatalities. That they've made it very clear that they're going to target companies and government operations in Papua. And I think you can get lulled into a sense of security that Freeport's security is impenetrable, and that's not the case. Just closing out for Southeast Asia, and I won't cover Australasia and the Pacific today, but yesterday a small group of pro-democracy gathered outside Government House in Bangkok yesterday and protested. It was the Thalupa group again. And it's sort of protesting against the government's their perception of the government's disregard of democracy. So I think, again, Thailand's still simmering away in the background, though, at the moment is presenting no real concerns. It's very isolated, but as we lead up to the next election, I think we need to pencil in some instability. Okay, over to you, Uday, for South Asia.
Yes, so in South Asia today, we covered 18 events. I'd just like to quickly touch on the clashes at the Benapole land port in Bangladesh. This is along the Indian border. The clashes disrupted trade in the area, and basically any businesses operating in the area need to conduct a risk assessment. But the main thing I want to talk about is the no confidence motion against Prime Minister Imran Khan. Debate on the motion will start in 2 days and a vote will be held in 7 days. So, Bhargav, do you see Imran Khan's tenure being cut short? This is the first major challenge that he's faced since he became the prime minister in 2018.
Oh, it's difficult to say, given that there was a resignation by PMLQ chief minister in Punjab, and the chief minister comes from PMLQ, which is part of the ruling coalition. So, and now that the no confidence motion is going to be tabled in National Assembly, we can expect more protests on the ground and more rallies and more political ramblings. So businesses need to watch out for disruptions in major cities and sometimes even in the conservative rural areas as well. So certainly, Uday, I think Imran Khan will have a tough time going into the no confidence motion in the next week or so.
All right, thanks a lot, Bhargav. That's a wrap for East Asia, Pacific, and South Asia.